And we thought, well, we would click all the boxes when people search Google.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But here we are all these 15 years later, and we truly are an exchange agent. We are a place where people can come and search for their benefits without being chased and bothered. All those things are what makes us as an agency what we are.
AI is coming a long way as far as help in decision making. So people can kind of say, hey, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. And it can kind of guide them into the right product, which is great in some terms. But in other ways, the employee might not quite understand what it is or why they're actually looking at this. And that's kind of where some of the AI may get better, but that's still where, having the conversation with somebody is needed. And we started the agency because we knew people needed help as far as getting benefits directly for themselves. But at the same time, it now is still the same. People still need that help. But it's even more important now where everything's kind of just going online to help those people with the conduit. Okay, well, I know that I need it, but how do I get it?
Yeah.
Go to our website. Go to bradandmike.com. Hit our website, take a look at it, spend some time on there.
Okay, so welcome to the very first episode of
Brad and Mike powered by SBEA.
Powered by SBEA. So, which leads us to Supplemental Benefits Exchange Agency. When we decided to name the agency Supplemental Benefits Exchange Agency, man, oh man, we didn't realize what a mouthful that was.
Well, we actually thought it would be a real easy way for people to find us on the internet, which is the funny part about this.
Right.
Have a whole bunch of stuff, SEO, but through the course of time, we pretty much started the agency. We figured it out that, hey, you know what? People are going to like us for who we are, not for basically just Googling our information and finding that. But, over the years, my gosh, what we've done over the years, where we came from and all that stuff. So, pretty much.
Going back to, and exactly in line with what you said, the reason we named the agency Supplemental Benefits Exchange Agency is because all those words we thought when people searched online, supplemental, benefits, exchange, agency, was right around the time the Affordable Care Act came into being. And we thought, well, we would click all the boxes when people search Google.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But here we are all these 15 years later, and we truly are an exchange agency. We are a place where people can come and search for their benefits without being chased and bothered. And I'm not going to call anybody out that advertises on 97.1 The Ticket, but if
they're watching, they know who it is.
If you ever listen to The Ticket, you'll know that people call. If you call them, they will chase you. We won't do that.
No, well, they'll actually find you on vacation, I heard.
It's true. You could be with your toes in the sand and you get a phone call and it's someone asking you, have you made a decision on your benefits?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you're like, why are they calling me? I'm on vacation.
Right. But going back to it, when we did form the agency, both you and I came from management with another carrier, and we were in management with another carrier. We had great success and we had a really good run, and we learned a lot. Back in the day, we were both out training agents and taking them out into the field and walking into businesses and saying, hey, have you seen those commercials on TV? And, we'd like an opportunity to sit and talk with your employees. And we were selling employee benefits.
Yeah. Yep. And that's basically what kind of triggered everything outside of the Affordable Care Act. That was the big thing that really changed everything for us, because we kind of knew that the whole landscape of benefits was going to change, and it sure did.
It did.
And
not overnight, not like we thought it would, not immediately, but it did change.
Oh, no, it did. But, the other aspect of it too is that what we really realized is when it did start to change, how many small agencies that probably helped out so many individuals or mom and pop organizations folded, or they sold to a larger agency. And then next thing you know, you're being handled by a large agency and you're just a number to them.
That's correct.
That's
well said. And it continues to happen today.
Yes.
You see all the time. And now even the larger agencies, the regional agencies, are getting bought up by the national guys.
Yep.
But there are still, agencies like us. We're out there. We can term this morning when we were at the networking, the coffee connection with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
I know we were in separate rooms, and I'm sure you gave a similar speech to what I gave into what it is that we do. And I said small businesses, anybody under age 65 for health insurance, and people who are aging into Medicare over 65.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Spot on. I mean, it has always really been for us, everybody across the board. I mean, even when we started prior in our previous lives and that type of thing, it was always helping individuals, even though it was done through the company and people chose their own benefit programs that they wanted to, it was still at the individual level. So all those years later, I mean, 30 years for me and 20 some odd for you.
Yeah. 25 this year. It's been 25 for me. Yeah.
Oh, look at you, silver. No, it's what is it? Silver?
Yeah,
What's 30?
I don't think 30 is anything.
I'm sure there's something for 30.
Oh, you get paper or something like that. Maybe,
I need a paperweight.
Maybe I have a paperweight. Maybe, you know what? Coffee mug. Pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, with my name on it.
Yeah. Sure. We can make that happen.
I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
But, I think the main thing for us really when you kind of got down to it was why us? I think that was probably always the thing that you kind of looked at. I mean, end of the day, when people are looking for benefits, they really can go and talk to anybody. I mean, they can Google anybody. They can look at their, Google page saying, hey, health insurance near me or Medicare near me.
I think that's how people do it. They go online, they go Google their health insurance near me.
Yeah.
And whoever pops up first, they're like, oh, okay, well, people search for services like that, or they'll read the reviews. I know I do. When I choose a restaurant, I read the reviews, don't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, except for those ones that are like one, it's like, hey, I can actually help you make $10 an hour.
Why did you get a one? And was it because someone had a grudge or whatever? But
yeah,
interestingly enough, both you and I have similar stories. Early in my career, I remember I was out at a nursing facility, and I had some disability products in this facility, and I remember speaking to this gal. She remembered me because I put her in the plan and I filed a claim for her. I don't recall why she was out on disability, but the benefit that was paid to her really helped her out. And she said to me something that I still remember today. She said, you saved Christmas for my family. And I'm like, well, I didn't do anything. I just paid your, I didn't even pay your claim. I just processed your paperwork.
Yeah.
But when she called me, I fulfilled my promise to her. If you have a claim, if there's any issue and you give me a call, we'll take care of you. And we did. And that resonated with me, that statement with her, because ultimately it is just about helping people. And insurance is by nature a promise, right?
Yeah.
It's a promise between the carrier and the policyholder, but we're that intermediary. We're that person in between. The Blue Cross Blue Shield, everyone knows what that logo is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm the one that's talking to you about Blue Cross Blue Shield and something goes sideways, who are you going to call?
Well, you.
Yeah.
Not Ghostbusters. But that's the whole reality. I mean, that's pretty much the differentiator when it kind of comes down to it, because all things being equal, I always remember going back to one of our carrier reps who basically had said, everybody kind of stinks.
Yeah, well, they said it in a different way.
But we're going to keep it clean here for that.
We're keeping it clean.
Yeah, we're going to keep it clean. But, everybody stinks, but you want to stink the least.
That's right.
And it just kind of proves to the whole aspect that at the scenario that most people have, it's always when something goes sideways that they need your help. And if they can't get a hold of you or you're just a number to them, that's when they need you the most.
It's true.
And that becomes the biggest issue. And over the years, we've gotten a lot of clients because of other people and their stories that they've had where it's like, hey, I had this situation happen. Next thing you know, it's like, where do I go? Where do I turn? I can't get a call back. And then eventually what's really interesting is that we get a lot of those phone calls where people have used other agents. They're like, but I need help now.
That's true.
But moving forward, I want to use you because I want somebody to be there like you are for me right now.
Well, yeah, and when you do a good job for people, you've fulfilled your promise if they were originally a client and you said you would do X and you do X. But everyone loves to say, I got a guy. Everyone loves to say, I got a guy.
I'm all set.
Yeah, I'm all. Well, no. You got to use my guy.
Oh, yeah, my guy.
And we want to be those guys. We want to be the guy. But, it's so easy these days to feel like you're just part of a big machine that's churning and churning and churning. And when you call carriers, not necessarily Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, but if you did happen to call them and you got that 800
way to not
number,
single them out. That's good. Smart. Yeah.
But no, in the Blues, generally, I don't ever have an issue with the Blues, but I'm calling a different number. When you're calling a customer number, sometimes you got to go through a lot of prompts. But these days, everybody puts you through prompts.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has press 1 for this, press 1. And half the time, you don't even know if you're talking to an AI person, a bot.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Press 3 for pound sand.
That's true. Yeah. But if you call us, we promise I won't bot you.
Yeah.
If you call us, when people call us, and I always say, look, if you call me and I don't answer and you go to my voicemail, I promise you within 24 hours, I'll call you back. And sometimes it might take 24 hours. We're out.
Mm-hmm.
We're out with clients a lot. Sometimes you do. But when you follow up with people and you're able to help them with their issue, because I guarantee you they're not calling you just to talk about the Lions and how great they were on Sunday. They're calling because they have an issue.
Sure. And they want it taken care of.
Yeah.
I get that completely. No one really likes to call us just for the heck of it. No one really wakes up one day and they're like, hey, you know what? Today sounds like the right day for me to waste some time talking about life insurance or pet insurance or, you don't get that. People don't call because everything's perfect. They have a need. The need basically is I have insurance and I have a claim and I need some help and I don't know how to do this.
That's it. That's really at the very core of it, the apex of it. That's what it is. I need assistance.
Yeah. And at the same time, I really want it on my terms. So if I have questions, I'll let you know. Instead of you pestering me, let me be the one to basically reach out to you with my questions on my agenda. And I really think that for the most part, that's kind of how we have dealt with our clients all these years. Hey, you know what? We'll check in just to make sure things are going right and to talk about the Lions or the Tigers or whatever for that matter. Yeah. But it's not a reactive type of thing for us to basically always reach out to them.
No, and in fact, I'm probably not going to call you. Obviously, if you're a business client and your renewal's up, we're going to have that conversation. Obviously, we're going to give you a call and say, hey, I just sent you the renewal. Let's talk about what your benefits look like this year, or whether that's the health insurance or disability or life insurance, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, we're not calling just to chit chat about the Lions. I love talking about the Lions. Yeah, right.
Well, they can always call if you know what, back to my point. They're not, if they're reaching out, it's not because they want to talk insurance, but if they want to talk sports or whatever,
true.
That's fine.
In line with that, it is the promise between the carrier and the client that if X happens, Y will happen. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you hurt yourself or if you're sick and you have a claim, you need to go to the hospital, whatever the circumstance may be, the insurance is there to financially support you. That's what insurance is. That's what the promise is. But oftentimes people aren't certain about what the process looks like.
Right.
And invariably that's why they call us.
Yes. Makes complete sense. Really what you want is somebody that's going to be able to explain it to you in layman's terms. It's one of those types of things when people that you have conversations with, they always use acronyms, whatever the 3-letter acronyms are. Like you're supposed to know exactly what that is. Well, a lot of times I don't. You can always Google it. And sometimes when you Google it, next thing you know, you get 4 different responses. Mm-hmm. Which one's the right one? How do I handle this? That Google can only go so far. AI is only going to take you so far at that point in time. And you sometimes just need to have that conversation and ask those questions because you might be in a difficult situation and you're like, how do I get this fixed?
Yeah. And it's the other thing that's noteworthy. A lot of times we'll get a call and they may have gotten an EOB in the mail or...
What's an EOB? There we go.
An explanation of benefits. They may have gotten an explanation of benefits from their insurance carrier and they're like, well, wait a minute, I thought this was covered.
Yep.
Right? And we've had those conversations. A lot of times when people are calling in, they're mad. They're angry. They're not necessarily angry at us, but we're that conduit we're that liaison between the carrier. We're the ones that put them in the program.
Right.
So somehow I have responsibility for the circumstance they find themselves in. Mm-hmm. And you could hear it in their tone.
Sure.
And a wise man once said, Brad, you can say almost anything if you have the right tone of voice. And a shout out to Jerry Weinberg and Associates on that. I don't know if we should be saying that or not.
Well, you just did.
I know I did just say it, but
sponsored by.
But Jerry is an icon in the industry. But those words are true, and it is your tone. I catch myself all the time. Tone, reminding myself. It's how you say things. It's important, and oftentimes we'll be sitting watching TV and my wife will say something and I'm not even thinking, I just say something. She'll look at me like, you didn't just say it. It wasn't what I said. It was the tone of voice that I used.
That's how you said it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the tone of voice. So often when people call in, they're mad, they're pissed. Right. And, I feel a lot of times, getting people to just give us the information of what it is that they have issue with, and then trying to convey to them how it is we may be able to help them, you'll see that shift. You'll see the shift because, people just want help. That's all. They just want help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah.
And when stuff goes sideways, you're frustrated and you start to get a little angry. And especially if you call into a carrier and it's press 1, press 2, press 3, press 4. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, I pressed 4, but they tell you, oh, you know what? You should have gone here. Or you should have gone there. And then
no one likes to get bounced around.
No, they don't. No. Not at all. Yeah. Nope. You reached the wrong department. Oh, well, it'd be a lot easier if I had somebody that could basically say, you know what, let me take care of that for you.
Yeah. And that's where people get frustrated. But, all those things are what makes us as an agency what we are. There is a promise when we bring a client on that and I always say, look, if you have an issue, give me a call. And again, as I said earlier, I may not be available to you in that moment, but I promise I'll reach back out to you.
But you'll be thinking of them. Your ears will ring.
Yeah, well, I'll get a little tickle. But you do. You reach back out, but I think everyone, myself included, we're all, programmed or wired now to have everything instantaneously at our grasp.
Sure.
Right. So if I'm out walking in the woods, and I drive my wife crazy with this, I'm out walking in the woods and I see something and I take my phone out and I take a picture of it and I go to Google search,
what type of plant?
What is that? What kind of tree is that? Is that a beech? I like doing that. Actually, I do that all the time. But the point I'm trying to illustrate is that everybody has become used to having their answers answered or their questions answered right away, real time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just not practical. Sometimes, people, if I'm out with a client on an enrollment and I'm not available, you got to leave me a voicemail, right? And I will call you back. I may not have that answer for you right away because I don't even know what your question is.
Right. Yeah. Need to have that conversation.
So that's part of it. But the industry continues to change. Technology is changing our industry a great deal. And which is why we have our website built the way we have it.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yep. I mean, we built that thing out. It's had numerous different revisions over the course of time. But when we first started with our very first one.
Remember the first website we had?
Yep, I do. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, that's come a very long way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. 2010 or 2011. Yeah.
First website. But it always basically held the same practical capabilities in that we wanted to make it as a marketplace for people to purchase insurance on their own, and they could do all their own quoting without actually having to have a conversation with us. Because the reality that I always see is, you know what? I just want to know how much this stuff costs. I need to look into it. How much does life insurance cost? How much is health insurance? How much is dental insurance? And if you go to many other websites or you go to the carriers, it's like, well, give us your information. Give us your name. Give us your date of birth. Give us your telephone number. Give us your email address.
Yeah. What was the first car you drove? Where did you meet your wife? All those questions. You definitely don't want to give that information out.
No, but then finally you get a phone call or an email, and then you continue to get that.
Yeah.
And people are like, hey, all I wanted was just a number.
Well, and to your point, it's the same thing. And everybody does this. I guarantee you. If you ever go into a furniture store, and we'll use Gardner White, it used to be Art Van, but they went out of business. Now it's all Gardner White. You walk
So are we sponsored by Gardner White?
No, we're not.
Okay, just making sure.
You know, actually, my wife and I were talking about getting a new sectional last night. I'm like, well, we should go to Gardner White. And she's like, I don't want to go to Gardner White.
Why is that?
Because as soon as you walk in,
Uh-huh.
they are on you.
Yep.
They are on you. What can I help you with today? What can I do? And what do you say?
I'm just looking.
I'm just looking. Right?
Because you know what? I'm bored for today.
Right.
That's why it's like, I'm going to call the insurance guys because I'm just bored. You know what? I'm going to go furniture shopping so that I can have somebody follow me around for a half an hour. You got questions?
Yep.
Well, I just need to know if it's comfortable. So give me a minute. And at the end of all the shopping experiences, you can show me whatever color it is and that type of thing. I'm not the one that knows exactly how it's going to fit into the house and that type of stuff. What color? I don't know. Because when you pick up the new couch, it may be that your whole room's getting painted a different color. Well, now this doesn't match, so we need new pillows.
So you're saying if your wife says, you know, I've been thinking, and they go like this, oh, I've been thinking. Well, you know what that means. That means there's a project on the horizon.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
6 trips to Home Depot.
Well, it might be, and that's okay. But it looks good once it's done.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt the end result. But you know, again, tying that back to that experience that people have, I think, which is why we wanted the website to be what it was.
Yep.
Interactive. Try to put a lot of information on there, whether you're dealing with Medicare, whether you're dealing with health insurance, pet insurance, travel insurance, vision, dental, whatever the circumstance may be, but to put that control back into our potential clients' hands. Let them be able to do it at their convenience. Invariably, though, and you know, you've been in many, many benefits meetings throughout the years, and you get up there and you start talking insurance, and you can see the glaze go over people's eyes. I don't know what it is, but as soon as you mention deductibles and co-insurance, it's like this veil comes down over people, and they just get this dazed look on their face. And I get it, because it's not something that you deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Correct.
And so it is a little bit confusing. It is math, and when you're trying to work that math, and it turns out to be fuzzy math, and then people get confused. So we wanted to allow for people to take control, but then when they have questions, and invariably they will,
reach out. Yeah, but they can basically take it cradle to grave.
Yeah.
Person can go directly to our website, quote their own plans.
And we've had that many times. We're like, do you know who this person is? I don't know who this person is.
Yep.
You know,
but they'll call us when they got a problem or a question. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I enrolled on a short-term medical plan on your website, and I've got questions.
Yep.
Okay. So what's your name?
Yep.
You know, let's
find you.
Yeah. Let's find you in the system. You know? So, you know, it's interesting, Mike, you know, as we're talking about this, and you think about where it was we both started.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I know your story is not so dissimilar from mine, but if you think about how a conversation with someone can change the trajectory of your life, and I know you have a sense for what I'm talking about here. The conversation you had with your roommate and his sister, and then the next thing you know, here you are, you know, 30 years later, you know,
in the insurance industry, and it was, you know, it's one of those types of things where, you know, I had graduated from college. And it was rather interesting in that I was working for a mom and pop appliance store out in Ann Arbor. And it was one of those types of things. You want
to give a shout out to?
No, I'm to Big George's Home Appliance Mart in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yep. I'm not sure if they're still called that or not, but that's where I was for a number of years. But, you know, I sold TVs, refrigerators, ranges, all that type of stuff. And
kitchen. Let's put it down straight in there.
There you go. But, you know, it was one of those scenarios where it's like, you know, you'd have the customer service, which we have a lot as far as in the insurance world, but mostly it was, you know, somebody would only come in if they needed a new refrigerator or a new stove or whatever it happened to be. And that was the only time that you'd ever see them. But it was also based on, you know, what sales were kind of going on. And I'd sit around a lot of times during the day and just waiting either for the phone to ring or at the same time, you know, people to come in, and you got bored. At least I did. I mean, I'm never one to sit around.
No, you're not.
There's only so many refrigerators, ranges, TVs and stuff that you can clean. and wipe fingerprints off on and that type of stuff before you pretty much have the whole store taken care of.
Otherwise, you're back there memorizing model numbers, right?
I did that.
I know you did that.
It was really weird. It was really weird.
Your mind totally works that way. I get it.
It's kind of
That's
funny.
why I said it.
I know. But here's the other part. I was never good in math. I mean, in high school in math, oh my gosh, my math teachers are probably like, you had no propensity for math. None. Yeah. None whatsoever. But here I have everything as far as with numbers and that type of thing when it comes to insurance and fantasy football. Love numbers in that way and love how everything kind of helps with, insurance and those types of scenarios. But what's always interesting to me is I always wanted it to where I could be a little bit more proactive and on the spot when it came to insurance. And so that's kind of where the insurance aspect kind of led me down the road. But it was also the other part of it where it was my dad. And so my dad, basically when I told him, hey, Dad, I have an interest. I want to go into the insurance industry. And my dad looked at me and he said, do you know how hard that is? Now, I'm young. I'm out of college at that point in time.
You're like 22, 23.
Yeah. And it was one of those types of scenarios. My dad was like basically throwing a gauntlet down, like, boom, I don't think he can do it.
Yeah.
And so that was the other part of it too. Well, okay, you want to, I'll show you, Dad.
Well, it is hard, but do you think he did that on purpose? Do you think he did that to motivate you?
I never asked him. That's probably the one question I can't, I can't ask him.
He very well could have. He very well could have done that to see, put a little fire under his butt to see what he's made of.
Yeah. And so 30 years later, still in it. So obviously,
so apparently it worked out okay.
To some degree.
Yeah. Well, in similar for me, when I moved out to Michigan in 2000 and I was working for a company and then 9/11 happened and I had the least amount of tenure at that company. It was a food service equipment manufacturer's rep. It was a rep group and everything just rose up. You remember how the country was at that time and nobody was opening. And anyhow, I was let go. And they said, "Wow, we love you." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "You're firing."
Oh, right? It's us. It's not you, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I took that personal. Well, during that time frame, it was tough finding any jobs because there was all this uncertainty.
Yep.
Anyhow, someone called on my resume, and I went in for an interview, and it was the insurance industry. And so I went and I was licensed. And I remember, the first day I went into the office and did a little bit of training and gave me a phone book and said, here you go, start making some calls.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what do I say? Well, here's a little script, but you can kind of spitball it. And it started from there. It wasn't too much longer after that my wife said, guess what? We're pregnant. I was like, woohoo, man, I got to get to work. And
great motivator.
Yeah, it was a great motivator. And I did. And fortunately, and I don't know, timing, it was right. And the carrier that we were representing was breaking into the advertising world. And you could go out and you could say, hey, have you seen these commercials? And you could talk to people about this insurance benefit. And they were very receptive because it was kind of new to the marketplace. And we did have success. And it was through a lot of work. And I remember bringing brochures and stuff at home with me and falling asleep learning the product. Literally with it in my hand and just nodding off, trying to get all this information.
So that was before cell phones.
I know it was before cell phones. So you literally had to read, right? Instead of scroll. You still some reading up. But that opportunity that presented itself to me was just that. It was an opportunity. And people say, oh, luck. Well, luck, the old saying is luck is when opportunity and preparedness meet, right? And I felt like I didn't have any choice.
Yep.
Right. And I was like, I got to make this work. And so I just leaned into it. And it wasn't too many years after that we actually met in management with that carrier. And we were in the same office and we were training people. And it was cool. It was like a movie. It truly was. In fact, we should have made a movie about what the way that office
we still can. I mean,
we still could.
Think of it this way. We've been in business now for 15 years, you and I, and we're making a podcast.
That's true.
So in another couple of years, maybe we'll make a movie as far as where we started. Maybe people will be like, you know what? These guys are really funny.
Well, they did make that movie, and it was a Boiler Room, and then what was the other? It was a couple other sales movies, but
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Well, maybe Puppies for Closers.
No, Steak Knives for you.
Yeah, Steak Knives
second place.
Mm-hmm. But really, it was a bullpen with phones, and we talked about how to get on the phone and make phone calls, and the whole purpose was to set an appointment. Set an appointment, and then you go out and you run the appointment, explain what the product does, and hopefully get the opportunity to then go back and explain the product to the employees. And then once the employees heard it, would they be interested in buying it? And then once they bought it, then we set it up on a payroll deduction. And that was the whole thing. And it's not so dissimilar to the way benefits are still communicated today. Now, technology has changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
You and I both know, we were just fooling around with Employee Navigator this morning. Most companies are bringing their benefits online using an enrollment platform.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, makes everything much more easy. And it's a great communication tool. AI is coming a long way as far as help in decision making. So people can kind of say, hey, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. And it can kind of guide them into the right product, which is great in some terms. But in other ways, the employee might not quite understand what it is or why they're actually looking at this. And that's kind of where some of the AI may get better, but that's still where, having the conversation with somebody is needed, because not everybody kind of understands the different acronyms of an HSA, health savings account.
Or an HRA, health reimbursement account.
Yep. And they might not get that. Or what's an FSA? Well, what's the difference between an FSA, flexible spending account, versus a health savings account?
And can I have them both at the same time?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of where, through the course of all our podcasts, we'll kind of get into those different things.
Well, yeah, we will. And then even with, in the future, as we move into future podcasts about Medicare and how Medicare interacts Part A and Part B with an HSA, what those rules and guidelines are. And, not to go into that right now, because today's podcast is more about us introducing ourselves to the podcast world. In the weird world that Brad and Mike is.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the reality of all this, is that, we started the agency because we knew people needed help as far as getting benefits directly for themselves. But at the same time, it now is still the same. People still need that help. But it's even more important now, where everything's kind of just going online, to help those people with the conduit. Okay, well, I know that I need it, but how do I get it?
Yeah.
Go to our website, go to bradandmike.com, hit our website, take a look at it, spend some time on there. I mean,
tool around, click around. Yeah.
Well, the beauty is, as you look at our website, we basically tell you, we're not going to chase you. We're not going to hound you.
And we're not.
So
we're not.
Feel free to hit our website. We're not tracking you. We're not sitting there. It's like, look, another person came to our website. That's not going to be the case. So you got questions, call us. If not, have fun with the website. That's basically why we put that out there for people, because
you can get the rates. So we're never going to not tell you how much it costs.
Yes.
Because ultimately that's what everybody wants to know. How much is it going to cost me?
Yeah.
When you go into Gardner White and you see the sectional there and you see the price tag on it, there's wiggle room there. The guy's going to say, well, look, if you can see your way to moving forward today, we might be able to knock a couple $100 off. That's how they do it.
Give you the sell price from last week.
Right, exactly. But I know it's a 50% off today only. But that's not what the insurance industry is. The rate is the rate is the rate. I can't change the rate for you. Mike, if you ask me, how much does pet insurance cost for my German Shepherd? How old's your dog? It's 7. Where do you live? This is how much it costs.
Yep.
Right. I can't change the rate. The rate is the rate. But what I can do is provide you with that information. Then you can make an informed decision at your convenience.
Well, plus options. That's one of the things that our website does do.
Yeah.
It's just not one option that you actually have. So like if you come to our website and you take a look at whether it's individual health insurance or Medicare, you're going to see all the different carriers that are available in your area.
That's correct.
So you can make the choice. You can see if your doctors are going to be in network. You can take a look to see if your medications are going to be covered. The system will tell you all that. You just have to input that information into the system to let it know, I'm on this particular type of prescription, or I see this doctor at this hospital. You'll be able to see whether or not they're in network or not. and then select the plan that you want based on, okay, check this box, doctor's in, meds are good. I'm all set. I like that rate. Fine.
Right.
Enroll. I got questions. Here's our phone number. It's all over the place.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Give us a buzz. We're happy to have that conversation with you. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to, sell it to you. It's more so, hey, look, you have a need. If you want to buy it, that's completely up to you.
That's always been my mantra. People say, oh, what do you do for a living? I never say I sell insurance. I don't sell. I just help people buy. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to be a conduit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you figure out what makes best sense for you.
Sure.
And I'm not going to try to sell you anything. If you want it, I'll help you figure out what makes best sense. But I'm not going to certainly try to put you in a product that you don't need.
Yes. No, I mean that. And through the years, we've seen enough people that have come to us that it's like, oh, what did they do to you?
Yeah. And they thought they were buying health insurance and they were buying,
something else other than that.
Just a hospital indemnity plan.
Yeah.
Which is just an injustice. And to be fair, there are a lot of pitfalls out there. There are a lot of, how do we want to say, scammers? Do we want to call them scammers? What are they? What are the people who advertise?
They're selling insurance, Brad. That's what they're doing. They're selling.
That's exactly it.
They got a quota. They have to make sure that, we're meeting our monthly number. If not, they get fired. So it's kind of like, towards the end of the month when you see a cop on the side of the road, are they going to try and pull me over because they have to sell, do so many tickets?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I don't know if that's a thing or not, but look, I know where I live as I drive down the road, I know what the speed limit is. And there's about a 5 mile per hour wiggle room. Don't go blazing down 50 miles an hour down that road. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
If you go blazing, you are going to get pulled over. You will get, and I know
you're trying. You're trying to get pulled over at that point. I know the
township cops, they sit there all the time. And, and I see people pulled over all the time. That's why the signs say 25 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour. Just stay within that range. You'll be okay.
Well, we're not 25 anymore. So it's we drive slower than we used to.
It's true. Though sometimes
learned.
I have to temper myself. It's the same thing as I said earlier about tone. I also have to say, calm down. You're in no hurry. I don't need to be there a minute sooner. Just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Absolutely.
Drive a little slower. So, well, I'll tell you what, Mike, it's been a lot of fun doing this conversational. This isn't so dissimilar to what we do every Monday morning anyway.
No. How was your weekend? What'd you do?
We talk about football and
talk about the spouses, talk about the kids. How's everyone doing?
Yep. You're 1-4 on the year in fantasy football team. You're
not anymore.
So I'm going to try.
You stink.
Yep. Ultimately, my hope moving forward is that we can bring podcasts about the insurance industry to people that make things easy to understand and hopefully answer questions simply by putting out information that people might have about what it is to do. If people want to come to us for that help, that's great. I mean, obviously that's why we're in business is to help people get in the right insurance product. But ultimately, it's just about simply helping people.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the whole reality of what it is, and I think through the course of time when we're developing this podcast more for people and there's more episodes, we'll kind of get into the weeds as far as some of the different types of options, plans, and things of that nature.
Oh, we will get in the weeds.
Yep. But at the same time, I think it's important though, as well as, okay, I can go to somebody's website, well, who are these yahoos? Are they any good? Do they know what they're doing? And I think that was the one reason that we started with this podcast.
It's a matter of trust. It truly is. It's a matter of trust. And you don't just get trust right out of the gate. You got to earn it.
No, right? You're correct on that.
So this is podcast 1. 1.1 of many to come. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the way to do it because people need help. There's no doubt about that. They can go to the website, they can see information, but they might get some questions. But at the same time, so many people are traveling around listening to podcasts these days, and they're like, how does this insurance work? I don't necessarily have the time to, do all the research. So what can I do? Oh, if I'm working in the yard, I can just put this podcast on and I can learn about Medicare or health insurance. Or if I'm in the car, I can play it on, the radio, and I can be like, okay, I'm going from point A to point B. It's going to take me 20 minutes to get there. And I can learn a lot within that 20-minute period of time.
And that goes back to what we said earlier, how technology is changing how we ingest information. And really at the end of the day, it's just all about information. How do I learn what it is I need to know?
Yes.
So hopefully we're going to do that. What do you think?
I love it. Cool.
All right, man.
Well, hey, everyone, thanks for watching the Brad and Mike show. I'm Mike Ritter, and this is
Brad Bachman, and nice to chat with you.
We'll see you next time.